Okay, well, this is Mike from the Progeny Adventure Group LLC. Though I thought I clicked on Amish of Ethridge. Who is that? All right, the Progeny Adventure Group LLC is the umbrella company that owns the Amish of Ethridge, Preemie Paradox, Older Dad Show, Visit Lawrenceburg, Tiana, all the different the operating companies underneath this umbrella. All of them have to do with traveling with kids, so they fit really nice. Now, this is episode 1, so I don't ever want to have to do this again. So instead of answering the same questions over and over and over and over again, what I'm going to do is we're going to make an episode called Episode 1, where we get to explain probably the most common of all questions that we ever get. And of course, I must first talk about how the Amish of Ethridge is owned by the Project Adventure Group. I made up some of our frequently asked questions and all that sort of thing. Now, we also list a lot of points of interest and stuff like that while we do the Amish type show. Of course, we have a live show like this one, as you can tell, green screen and all that sort of thing. Well, let's just change the background, won't we? No. There it is. Now, like the background, I can change it because it's a green screen. I'm just in my house because I created a studio in my house so I can work forever because everybody wants to do that. No, we don't. But anyway, I do. I love this stuff. So I made this episode 1 to answer the questions that everybody asks all the time. And some of that is where we came from and why we do this kind of stuff. Anyway, what I did is years ago, I started with the Lawrence County Tourism Association. That started at Granny's Network, continued through Gail Hughes, when in 2010 I joined and have done tourism-y stuff ever since. So I learned from all the greats and the gurus, if you will, all the governors' meetings and some of the people that really are bigger than me that do things at a grander scale. I learned their tactics. And I, did the next best thing. Quit all of that and did it for myself. That's what I did, me and Josh. Man, yeah. So, anyway, that's what we did here. So, with the points of interest and all that sort of thing, that pretty much handles it as, the Amish is the biggest draw to Lawrence County. So I naturally went and made a page where people could learn about the Amish, because a lot of people, they just showed up, they didn't know what to do, they wore decent boots or they had high heels and they got on a wagon ride and stepped around cow manure. So I had to tell them, you probably don't want to do that. Also, they didn't know that they didn't take cards, so a lot of people just scratching their heads going, I would like to buy this, but the Amish don't have machines because they don't have any electricity. So naturally, what happened? They left a bit sad, going, I had money, but they couldn't take it. I wish I would have known. So this is that page where I try to tell you all about coming and visiting, not just our Amish community here in Ethridge, but with our other page, Amish and Mennonite of Tennessee. We go all over the state, and some of Kentucky, sometimes Mississippi, and sometimes parts of Alabama, because there's an older Mennonite community in Section, Alabama. Anyway, the clothing, as you can tell that I'm wearing, and my leather suspenders and my hat. This is a fedora hat, or a Western fedora from Colonel Littleton. You can't buy it anymore. They quit selling them. He couldn't get the quality that he wanted. And if you know Colonel Littleton's wonderful leather works, he has some great places and stuff to get in store there. We bought the last ones, Josh and I. So anyway, that's where that is. These suspenders, I don't remember quite off the top of my head, and this shirt just looked like more of a Western appeal. So I wear it because this mainly sticks to some of our country-minded people that love this kind of country get up and go. And that's where I naturally went with my outfit because it seemed to make a lot more sense. I'm not imitating any Amish or Mennonite person, but I did want to look closer to them than some of our other shows, because if you see, like the Older Dad Show, where we're in tweed suits, and some of our other shows we're in Brooks Brothers shirts with ties, and we look really nice. Um, we also do things where we show our Alan Edmund shoes being tied and just different things. I don't know. That's a whole different show. Watch their episode 1 if you're curious about those. Now, how do we make money? Well, it's a different group of things. Mainly, one word, courses. Yeah, that's right. We mainly make money through courses. Secondly, advertising. Third is kind of an affiliate resources. Of course, we make our friend Eric Westerner's book required reading when our courses are there, because and anybody that wants like an Amish cookbook that we feel is a good one, that means we've taken and opened it, we've tried to make a few of the dishes, and it comes out the way it's supposed to. So many of these that you try the recipe and it doesn't work at all, then you research it, and it's supposed to be by the Mennonites, and the Mennonite ladies say this is we don't even know what this thing is, and so it was just a way to put Mennonite on a book and sell it for more money. So we don't do that. We make sure that all our stuff is vetted by them from, good sources, and then we put it on our website. So that's an affiliate, and all that kind of stuff. So that makes up kind of the mutual fund, if you will, of ways that we get money. So let me skip down. Now, we try not to use any ad network. So we didn't really want to use Ezoic, Mediavine, AdThrive, or what's called Raptive, I think now, because it ruins the experience. If you put nothing but ads all over and you get like 0.1 of 1% or something, and you watch 30 seconds of an ad and all that sort of thing. Now, in the future, if we don't get a lot of advertising money give to us for our inline advertising and stuff like that, we will do that naturally, because we'll be so poor, we'll take whatever they get. So if you want to know exactly how we make money, go to the Progeny Adventure Group's YouTube channel, and there we have a video about how we make money, search generative experience, AI, all that stuff. So, but then what do I want to talk about here? Let's see here. Oh, what do we use for our live show? Oh, man. Okay, all right. Now, what you're seeing behind us is a green screen, as you could tell. Now, above us is two KM184 shotgun mics, if you will, or small condensers, I guess, to be technically true, from Neumann. Yes, I said Neumann, and they're like $900 a piece. I felt good that day after I got them, and but before then I was like, what am I doing? But don't they sound great? This is a 10 by 13 room. You hardly hear anything. The lights are back here, but you hear my voice so well. Oh man, these things are phenomenal. I got one pointing at me, and of course when Josh and I is here, you'll hear both of them like this. They cancel each other out when they're like in a 90-degree, orientation, and so you can hear me and him. And when I turn like this and I say things, it picks me up great. Hardly any drop off in volume. They're wonderful, and they're all routed back around to a Rodecaster Pro 2. That's what we use. It runs into a supercomputer that's about $5,000, into multiple monitors. We have another MSI computer that we do. If you ever see me one day reach over here, it is to run, or do something here, it's to run that MSI where we do, since it's a gaming computer, I want it away from the microphone also. And what we do there is whenever we do a live presentation, which we want to do more of, and allows us to do screen capture, and it allows us to do a lot of functionality when you need multiple computers running all in one system. But the HP workstation down here with the A4000, and it has a 12900K from Intel. Let's see, what else is there? As far as lighting, Genray. Now, I don't have the sides here because I don't really need them for this kind of video. But we do have the 4x50 inch Genray lighting. We do have two up here to kind of give us some little standoff light, separates us from the background. The screen is lit by them as well. And as far as two 36-inch octagon light diffusers, also from Generate. This is their, I forget what series. Oh, man. Anyway, it's one of their better, more higher wattage light. I got it about halfway up on both of them. Give us good lighting, all that sort of thing. Gives us a good even amount on the background. So really good light setup. So that is what we use as far as in here. Now, if you was to look around, there's multiple places for different microphones. There is soundproofing everywhere, but not everywhere. It's more like a place where it sounds lively enough, but you can still hear a little bit. But it's not exactly that lively. It's got some deadening and some both, I guess is the best way to say it. Now, as far as the X keys, this is their what is it, the 265? Yeah, XK68 jog and shuttle. It does have all the buttons with its. This is the one that's got the rotary for instant replay. And this is the last one. This is the one I guess I catch the most crap about, and that's what took you guys so long to make this page and show. And it's extremely fitting. We started talking about this in 2018. Yes, 2018. This is the end of this is December of 23 when I'm writing this. Now in 2016, I had an infant daughter that was 1 pound 13 ounces. And that's rather small if you don't know anything about kids. They're typically about, 7 or 8 pounds for them. Mine was 1 pound 13 ounces. She was only 13 inches long. We spent 89 days in the NICU, which stands for Neonatal Intensive Care Unit, by which I made the Preemie Paradox organization. So, which is still not done. Truth be known, I'm going to look right at the camera when I say this, is that I did not, and I guess I should say Josh did not either, we did not want to forfeit our kids' futures predicated on our wanting a show. Does that make any sense? For example, they call the first 5 years the formative years. And what kind of dad would I be, as the older dad show, if I said, nah, forget all that junk. I want to make money making these shows, and just went full force. Don't bother me, kid. I'm trying to be a good dad to this other. And then I wasn't a good dad myself. Now, that's more than the 2 paragraphs or whatever I wrote here, but forget that. We're being real, right? When I look at the camera and I say that, I'm being extremely real. I know on the other side of this, there's dads there, there's moms there, need to hear this kind of stuff. If you are so big about all this different stuff on how you can make money and get out of debt and finally retire at 43 or something, that's not, I don't know what to tell you, but you're wrong on so many levels. You pay kids with time. They take minutes as money. Of course, they want money and things too, but they really want you. They want your attention. They're like, look at me. I'm putting a pin, this Lamy 2000, under my nose, and now it looks like a mustache or something because you have a mustache, Dad, and just laugh about it. Of course, they dropped a Lamy 2000. I have to make sure it still works. But anyway, I wouldn't say nothing. I would just laugh and just use that, because Josh's kid is 8 now. My kid just turned 7, and she's in that trying to get a little bit of independence. So what we decided to do was really watch the market and the dads out there, and look at some of the Gen Z people that are coming along, and well, it's atrocious. Okay, fine, I'll say it. It's atrocious. They kill each other like no tomorrow. A lot of them are hooked on drugs. They don't tend to want to date. I'm talking about the Gen Z, and some of the later millennials. They just, and some of us Gen Xers. I mean, Josh and I are Gen X, and they've made a mess of it. And a lot of times, because they have a little bit of involvement, people are hurraying. You could take your kid to school when they miss the bus. And it's like, that's bare minimum. You know what I mean? And we see them when we go to the malls, when we go places. They'd rather play on their phones, or kids could just be taken from them by a stranger. And we decided we would, of course, you're on episode 1 of the Amish of Ethridge. You're going to hear my heart on this. And I think a good father, or a good mother for that matter too, is one that can spend quality time with their kids. The Amish and Mennonite people have a lot of them, and they spend time as a family a lot of times. Of course, it's mainly through chores and working and all that stuff. I get it. I know that we're not that. I'm just saying that they created a culture within themselves that they would take the time out for their youth. They have youth events, they have youth singings, they have youth everything. You know what I mean? If there's probably right now, there's a big pizza party going on with the singing or something, because they do that too. They also have a system of where a kid grows up, becomes married, has a bunch of kids, and as they get advanced in age, the parents a lot of times will move in to what's called a dowdy house. You don't ever see a community when you're driving through an Amish or Mennonite community. You don't ever say, oh, that's their nursing home. Yeah, that's it right there, that nursing home. That's for the Amish and Mennonite people. The reason you don't see it is because they don't have them. Now, there are Amish and Mennonite people that do go to nursing homes. I'm not saying that. And of course, that's in towards the end, if you will. That's when they need care of a certain kind that is constant, not housing of a certain kind and constant. And I think we can do that. I think we can teach each other and relegate our kids to an experience of a culture that would okay having mom and dad around. A lot of them are divorced, so it's one or the other. And I think we could do better if we learned a little bit of these snippets of their culture interspersed with ours. Every single Amish and Mennonite kid, I don't care if they're 2 years old, they know where food comes from. They've seen it with their own eye. They watched that tomato kind of come out of the vine and then start becoming a different color, green, and then redded, and then all of a sudden, it got to be big enough that their parent or their brother or sister picked it and they put it in a thing and they carried it in, they cut it up and put salt on it and they put it in your mouth, and they just knew where food come from. Now, of course, they know what happens with the cows and the pigs and the chickens, but they see the circle of life. Very few kids nowadays see the circle of life, so we're going to talk a lot about that. We're also going to talk about community. Oh man, I tell you what, if right now a storm came and a lightning bolt come in and burnt a barn down, in 2 weeks there would be another one. Why do I say that? I've seen it. I've seen it time and time again. When a barn will burn down and there'd be 200 Amish people. When you put 200 Amish people with saws and hammers and all, they don't need electricity. They got manpower. They all know how to build. They've done this. When a person needs a new home, they don't go to the bank and borrow a bunch of money. No, they say, how much does it cost for the wood? They already make a bunch of wood. They save price. Of course, they don't have to worry about the electronic or the electrical codes inspector. There's no electricity. So they can go in there. People are cutting wood for them. And they don't put all the little knotty boards. No. It's good stuff. They got to go to church together with this stuff and then look at him sideways and say, you didn't do right on the boards, did you? But it's all great. And 100 Amish men will get in there and they'll start nailing it up. No time. They'll put boards. They'll put cement. They'll do everything. There'll be a whole house standing in no time. And, an eighth of the cost of a real home. You know what I mean? So the community can fit together. If one of them gets sick, they pay each other's bills and all that sort of thing. They just know what happens. They try to live very healthy. They don't try to go out. There's not a lot of people just risking it, if you will. They try to maintain a standard of living that's actually pretty good, with obviously a high amount of exercise with their chores. And what if we did that as English people? So I want to talk about that on our live show, which the VMix and all that stuff comes in. Now, I did a lot of my, when I just mentioned that I was part of the Tourism Association, whenever I did have my daughter, I also had heart surgery. And whenever I went down that hallway that we've all been on, if you've had serious health conditions, and that little tiny little bed, that they wheel you through. And I remember going into these rooms that cardiac, because I had heart surgery, the cardiac wing, and they put us, and it looks different, stuff on the walls different. And I came into this room and I was looking around. I don't know what all they were going to use, but I knew there was enough in there. And I watched my daughter come out because I'm right there at the receiving end. You know what I'm talking about, right? So I'm right there. I see this tiny little. I mean, it's shorter than a shoe. This little baby girl come out, and she's just red. She's 26 weeks gestation, so she's not really human looking quite. She looks more like a little alien, I guess, But she was mine, and I loved her from the time it goes. And then they start putting the pick lines in there, which was hard to watch. And then they have to do something bad, I guess, or detrimental, is that they wheel her up to mom. Mom gets a good look at her, and then she gets to leave, and on that way, to the NICU, she's just looking everywhere. And I was like, I did the same thing, and we've been buddies. So, so anyway, that was an interesting time. I didn't know she was going to live, but whenever it come time to do nap rides and such, this was in March, and how little infants do. She didn't die. She ended up coming home and everything. She's 7. She's in here in the next room making noise if you hear it through the Neumann mics. Anyway, so what happened is I would take her for rides, and those Amish roads, oh man, they're full of holes. They don't fix them very well. I don't know if they just refuse or just like it's no use fixing the Amish roads. But all those little bumps and stuff, oh man, it's like knockout juice to kids. Oh, if you want a kid to fall asleep, you go about 20 miles an hour during those roads, and the car is constantly undulating and moving, and the baby's going back and forth, and that little head starts going, one eye starts closing. Next thing you know, there's no crying. There's just, and they're out. And you can just like pull up to one of these barbecue places and just drive around, just talking, me and my wife, like, what are we going to do? We can't afford all of our bills. And we have those discussions. We still have those discussions, if you know me. Anyway, so anyway, that made me start really kind of think about the tourism stuff again. And I would help people online, come to visit Ethridge. And I want them to. I want them to continue. You can do a lot of stuff. You can rent machine guns at these Top Gun and Eagle Eye places, shoot skeet and all that stuff. You could shoot at each other, sometimes not with the machine guns, but over at Summertown Airsoft, you can get in these. There's like 3 or 4 places to get in these kayaks and tubes and stuff like that. The outdoor enjoyment you can get in Lawrence County is, second to none. It really is when it comes to Amish visitation with points of interest. And I didn't want people to miss that. I didn't want people that also had little Alanas, little Davids, kind of like Josh's David. And then you take your sons and daughters to a place like this where they can see it firsthand. And I can't quit that. Naturally, I need people to buy our courses. This one's going to be phenomenal. I'm going to show you everything. Nothing's going to be left out. The other one's going to have a more cultural thing, because I want my daughter to grow up knowing there's other people other than us, and their cultures are different, and what they believe about things are different, and that's okay. We live in an integrated world, and that's not going away anytime soon. So I like the cultural aspect of going to see people in Tennessee, especially. So get out and see it for yourself. You can, even if you're not homeschooled like she is, she's autistic and such. And so we homeschool her because I think we could do a better job. And two, it'd be like being locked in with a convict. She will hit you. Oh, so, I'm just saying. But we homeschool her and we take her to all these different places to sort of augment her education, to show her places around Tennessee that are just truly phenomenal. And they're great, you know what I mean? And of course, some of them are just fun, like Dollywood and, all those kind of places. And so that if you brought your kid along to sort of further their education, for example, that's where the Amish and Mennonite channel really come in. Of course, Ethridge is the big one. So coming here requires some planning. It's not a thing you can do in a day or shouldn't do in a day. This is something you need a night's stay to really do. And we talk about that too in a lot of this stuff. So I wanted this episode 1 to be about sort of our main hard questions. If you want another one, or if there's one I didn't touch on, then put it in the comment section. Go over to our Facebook page. We have almost 28,000 people over there right now at the time of recording. And you can join it and you can ask us questions, you know what I mean? And I love that, don't get me wrong. But I want you to hear my heart in this stuff. I'm not a person that gets paid by anybody. If you just try this one, go to the Amish Welcome Center and say, how much do you give those Amish of Ethridge people? If they're honest, they'll say nothing. I do not charge them. Nobody can say that because I paid you to say something, I said it. No. That ain't how it works. I say that because it's true. So if I write it in the website, if you go to the amishofethridge.com and you see my words, that's my words. I typed every single one of them. If you go to Heine's barbecue, for example, because you've got a group, I'm going to take a tour bus. I'm going to go with a big group of people, 4 families decided from one church to get a big tour bus. Fine, bring it, because I can put you up in a hotel. They're building more hotels because I keep filling them up full of Amish guests. Anyway, what I'm saying is that I could give you a really good time on that. They have 2 or 3 buggies. They hold 30 people. That would easily handle within 2 buggies all of your bus. You just have to get a hold of Diane or me, and we can book that. You can go to several other places and just have a ball. I could take that bus all kinds of different places. So you can imagine what I could do with just people, a family in a car. You want to throw axes? You want to shoot tannerite? I mean, you want to shoot skeet and be on in the mornings and play golf in a wonderful, place that's not all that expensive. If you want to go down the river or creeks in a kayak you've never been in before, there's people that's on our page that are perfect for getting first-time kayakers. You get on a horse, you know what I mean? There's so many places that you could take a horse ride, and I know these people, but I want you to have the kind of adventure that sticks with you for a lifetime, hopefully. Anybody can get on a roller coaster. We wait 2 hours to get on a 30-second ride if you're lucky. I get that, but there'll be a year that your parents said, "I'm going to take you to see the Amish, and we're going to do some of this stuff." We've seen drag racing, and we've seen dirt track racing, and all in the same county. We're also the birthplace of Southern gospel music, so this is where a lot of music started. Just 70 miles north of us, of course, is Nashville. There's only one music city, Nashville, Tennessee. 52 miles below us is Huntsville, Alabama, if you want to go see the Space and Rocket Center. So there's you see full-size NASA stuff. They got moon rocks and all kinds of crazy stuff in there. Of course, right outside of there, which is only about 30 miles south of us, is the Muscle Shoals Studios. This is where a lot of the Swampers, if you're, for example, if you're into soul music, this is where Aretha Franklin recorded a lot of hits. This is where Elton John had music. I mean, even George Michael's, he recorded "Careless Whisper" there first, it wasn't the one that you think of today. It was a different version of it, but he did record it there. There was a lot of people that came to Muscle Shoals and recorded a different kind of music than Nashville music. So If you're doing the music anything, you're going to be going right between Nashville, Muscle Shoals, and Huntsville. Of course, if you want, maybe a few of you guys have seen on here. I play the whiskey tour, the brewery tour, and the winery tour. Why? Because that's an agricultural based historical thing. Now, I'm a diabetic. I have an Omnipod 5. I can't touch any alcohol because pancreas and alcohol don't get along. But I love taking my family to these places because you can see agriculture and history and tradition all using old school methods, and it's an educational thing for kids to watch. Um, of course, some of us moms and dads like getting a bottle and taking it home and making things. And of course, Tennessee whiskey with Jack Daniels, which is a national brand. People in France, Germany, Japan, all that stuff know Jack Daniels as a whiskey. And of course, that's only about an hour drive from here. And it's along the way to Morrison, which is another Amish community. And plenty of restaurants. So I have a tour that goes all the way around Tennessee, joining these different places, different points of interest along the way. So we're also, Tennessee is the home of the Tennessee walking horse. So, of course, Shelbyville, Tennessee, if you're really into horses, some of the best in the world are right there in and around Shelbyville, Tennessee. So if you're into anything equine, we have a lot of places in Franklin, Tennessee, and Williamson County that have to do with the corsage or dressage or whatever, the fancy horse dancing, and they have the fox hunting type things, and where everybody dresses up and they got those suits, and it's a real treat. And all of those experiences can be bundled with your Amish adventure, so that you're doing something one day, traveling, doing something another day, and you're hitting this trail, so that one day you say, you know what, one year mom took us, or dad, or mom and dad said, let's go see the Amish. We're going to hit all these different places, and they just had a road trip, so that you spent time as a family. That's kind of why the Amish don't drive cars. They like having time as a family. And if they make transportation limited and hard to do, you won't do it as much. And when you do it, you'll bulk it and you'll travel as a group. That's why you don't see a lot of people or Amish in one person per buggy unless they're doing business in town. So I want that to continue. So I started this page to make this happen. And like, if you guys seen me when I was in Vanderbilt, my body tries to die a couple times a year with pancreatitis. And I've spent $70-something thousand on all this stuff to make a possibility for us to make these shows. Hopefully, if you're seeing this, you'll consider looking into our advertising, our affiliate marketing, and other resources that we can do as digital marketers. Now, I came from engineering, so I'm used to taking things apart to see how they work. Josh has a master's degree of business science. My wife has 2 degrees in science and is a senior level industrial hygienist, which makes courses and programs and all the kind of nerdier parts of this, because there's a lot of things that go into like GDPR and CISPA as far as privacy. There's a lot of things that happen in security so that people don't steal people's information. We've spent a fortune on learning about it and then doing something about it. We feel pretty good with all of our protocols and our things. We're not out to scam anybody, but we definitely want to put your target market of people, if they are an outdoorsy country kind of person. We do have several of our things that we can do as far as affiliate and different digital marketing things that would work really well for you if you decided to advertise. Most of it's $500 a month to get you in front of about 100,000 impressions basically now. We only get about 10,000 direct clicks. And of course, a lot of times direct is indicative of people, I want to go to the Amish of Ethridge or something, Middle Tennessee, Ethridge, and they find us really close to the top. Our website has well over 100 pages and about 30 or 40 blogs. So it's a big luggy site, you know what I mean? So We don't have a very bad click-through rate, all that sort of thing. And we have 80% of our audience is women between 35 and 70, with our biggest blocks being 35 to 44 and 45 to 60. That's our two biggest ones. So it kind of tapers down and it ramps almost straight up from those numbers. So that's right in the buying dynamic for a lot of you guys. So if you're looking for a demography with 80% women and middle-aged women that make decisions on Amish cabinets. So if you're a furniture place, also dealing with insurance, that's about the age where kids can't sit next to each other in a car, and you need a third row. So if it's a car company needing lead generation or insurance place getting lead generation, you're about to add another driver to your place and you want to know what the best deal is, or that obviously that would make perfect sense. Also, if you have an RV company, hunting, fishing, agriculture, craft company that does things like that, you're going to do really, really, really well. We've noticed that in the trends. Also, if you just type into Google Amish and just type the word C, either casket or cabinet comes up every time. So if you're a casket company or a cabinet company, you need to call us, because there's a lot of people that buy Amish cabinet or Amish inspired, or there's a lot of buzzwords and long-term key or long-tail keywords that kind of. I'm trying not to say some things out loud, but because they're secrets, I guess, if you will. But anyway, there's a lot of things that happen within the ability for the crawl budget of Google to find you as a client, a server file that's in like a website, the perfect match to complete the searcher's intent. This is what search generative experience and AI and all that stuff will start doing. I don't want to give away too much right now, because of course this is also why people pay me to do this kind of thing. So anyway, we have a garden level that starts at 500, and we have a windmill level. That's for people that they don't want nothing to do with the website. Anybody that reads, that's not them. They want to listen. So on our podcast, what we do with the live show is we strip the audio, put it over on a podcast feed, and so we can offer about six placements per episode, because we get long and windy. So if you want podcast advertising or video advertising, like say for example, I got a place in the front of a YouTube video that I can do. Of course, they're going to run a video regardless, so keep in mind, I have no control over what YouTube does. YouTube owns YouTube. Mike does not own YouTube. So anyway, Mike can make a video where he starts out and then goes into a segue into a commercial in a video that we do. So anyway, so we have Blackmagic Cinema cameras that you're watching now, and we got Panasonic S1s and like stuff like this, like the DJI Mavic 3 Pro drones. We have 360 cameras. We have all kinds of different stuff that we can make content with. So, but once you make a video, and for example, if we did a buyer seller thing, for example, let's just make this out. If I did a buyer seller thing and you paid me to do a video, I would charge you probably $3,000 or something, because that's conducive to what we do around here as far as charge rate. And then I give you the file, and it's yours now. You can broadcast it to the world. But you know something and I know something that is unfortunate, but that people know you're tooting your own horn. All they hear is, buy my stuff, and then buy my stuff. And they have what we call banner block. As soon as it looks like a commercial, people flip up. They just keep going. I don't want to hear a commercial, you know what I mean, from the people who bring me, buy my stuff. It's like, yeah, but I want to make money. I want to sell things. How do I sell things and not have banner block? Well, if you figured that out, you're going to be busy, because it's going to be very difficult. However, if somebody else says, for example, about like a steakhouse, I went there and it was great, and you start seeing everybody else, I went there and it was great, but, well, what's the but? Because because they have no dog in this race. I went, but the bathrooms are dirty. Okay, well, I don't eat in the bathroom, or, whatever. What's the next thing? And it's like what we do. We read reviews, right? And if somebody they trust says, you go here because I think these people are awesome, and I have an on-site video where I go all over and legitimize the experience you're going to have, even down to where you park, then I've already done 50% of the heavy lifting, right? I've got the trust between the buyer and the seller, because the buyer is closer to me than they are them as the advertiser. So that scheme is really, really close. Not scheme. Not when I say the word scheme, don't think of it as like as a thing that I'm trying to rip off somebody. No, it's more of a way of doing something. So in this scenario, what I'm just mentioning is that if I can toot your horn for you and say this is a great place, like for example Lodge Manufacturing or something, they make the pans, right? The cast iron. Lodge cast iron is just a standard. Of course I want their Phoenix prints to bunny rabbit's trail. Anyway, the Lodge company makes a lot of great cast iron. Their Blacklock series is phenomenal. I use it myself. So of course the Amish and Mennonite people love cast iron. Camping people love cast iron. The off-grid people love cast iron. Anybody that does anything over a campfire probably has a Lodge pan. Lodge is found everywhere. So it makes sense when I show all my Lodge stuff, if Lodge comes along and says, hey, let's do some advertising, or do a collaboration, because I have the Amish market. I have that ear, if you will. And I should, because I lived amongst them. I'm from Ethridge, lived at 109 High Street, or High Avenue, if you look it up on Google. So anyway, that kind of symbology, that type of symbiosis, sort of speak, of having a natural outdoors-minded person in an outdoors-minded field and topic center, searching for products that kind of fit within that jurisdiction. Now, if you fill in that gap with your service or your business, you'll be a natural fit for our advertising. And that's how we make money, all that sort of thing. So if you're ever wondering, I'm putting all that out there for anybody to watch. Most people probably wouldn't watch up this far. So if you're still with us, thank you. Please like and subscribe and follow us for the next video. So anyway, I don't know what else to say, but this is episode 1. I just wanted to tell everybody what this is, because that's one of the first things people say. What are you using? Is that Ecamm? I'm like, I'm a PC guy, so I went vMix Pro. Yeah, but don't you have to have a beefy computer? Yes, I use an HP workstation computer. It was about $4,000, and I put in a couple additional M2 drives so that I can use it for video editing, like for this, and changing the background out. Let's just do that. Nah. Oh, that one. I like that one. So anyway, that's what we do. And we use Genere lighting, like I said. Neumann KM 184s, both one on each side. I've only got one on me right now. And that's, I use MSI computers on the side. That's what my laptop computers are. We're running into a Rodecaster Pro 2. Like I said, this is stuff I said earlier. We use Studio One with a PreSonus device over here. Of course, right here's it's outside of frame. But anyway, right here is a electric drum set. It's the Simmons 1250s. I have probably 20 grand worth of music stuff outside of this, and all I can score movies, or not really movies, but soundtracks that would be played in a movie or something like that. You ever hear like a little daunting sound or something that comes in? I probably have something in Native Instruments, or one of those programs like that, that I can make some kind of sound with, and then I layer that, and then I also master that and then I export it, and then I put video files, and sometimes I have to nudge things a certain way, and they fit, and all that sort of thing. So I try to do my own music, because those music guys are coming. I promise you that all this AI music stuff is going to make some guys pretty mad, and the music bros are coming out. I'm just saying that they're like the photography guys. I was a commercial photographer for a long time, had a dark room in here before. It's going to Manchester with some buddies of mine. That's coming up too. I'm not done with you yet, film. Anyway, you couldn't hardly get an image. You couldn't hardly save one because the copyright people started coming up, right? So the musicians, I believe, will come up later. Plus, I love doing our own long video. I like doing more documentary type video that really kind of shows you the place. I hope to do one on Heine's Barbecue, because Triple Eagle did such, at Heine's Barbecue, his dad was known to show his Heine. That's how it's called, Heine's. But they call his nickname was Heine, and he always had a smoker going. Evidently, it would 3 o'clock in the morning. He would be up flipping something, just a guy that just knew how to cook. Showed Trip how to cook, and he did his own welding. He'd weld up his own the little movable thing. He'd go do competitions and all that stuff. So he's a great chef, and I want to tell sort of his story, on here. So I got such big plans. Oh man, I got such big plans for the Amish of Ethridge, the Amish and Mennonite of Tennessee page, the Kudzu Crawl, which is one I've not talked to anybody about, coming up, and there's so many wonderful places that you can visit here in Alabama and Mississippi and Georgia and the Carolinas. I mean, talked about Tennessee whiskey. We do a lot of stuff with the Amish and Mennonite in Kentucky, which of course Kentucky bourbon and Tennessee whiskey. I mean, oh man, the top. If you're into spirits, I mean, you're in the right place. I'm just saying. So, oh man, and do I want to? Okay, I'm this far in. Okay. The first time I had pancreatitis in 2014, it nearly killed me. They had to call in family, or they asked me to call in the family. But I wanted my family to remember me the way I was, not flailing about, on this bed, dying of pancreatitis. It was beyond painful. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, but I didn't think about why I should work more. I never thought about why I should have done something else more. I did kind of get mad at myself for never fly fishing in Belize, but it really struck a nerve with me that I should have went out and done more with my life and seen more and all that sort of thing and different things. And it really made me sad in my 30s that I might not make it. And if you want that kind of experience, and you want a different experience, and you want to go see a people that belong to the people, the Amish believe that. They think that they belong to each other. And what if we all thought like that? What if we thought, instead of, get as much as you can as much as you get, and, burn the rest for everybody to, we're teaching our kids and stuff to be the best, to be so good that you could just sort of just mop the floor with everybody else. It's all about this guy. And that selfish attitude has made us terrible. And I believe what made us great back in the day was a lot of our people, we did things together. I remember having to ride the strip and then find my friend sitting at most likely Kmart parking lot, if you guys in Lawrenceburg, and everybody's got one of these places. You rode the strip until you found a parking lot where they were. You pulled in next to them, and you just hung out outside. It could be almost raining, and you'd rather stand there and hang out with your friends than go home. And you don't do that no more. It's all, I got mine in my pocket. I don't care about it. We all got phones, right? And it's all about this. And we don't care about each other no more. And I would like to kind of fix a lot of that. I think we can use our social intelligence now. So when we put our heads together, it's like the Amish putting their hearts together and building a new house or a new barn or a barn raising, or a couple moved in and they have difficulty, so they make them a chair ramp or something. I mean, that's the kind of people that I would like us to be. You know what I mean? And some of this is going to be, this is going to be the longest video. But if you watch this far, this is why I do it. And anyway, that maybe I've said too much. Who knows? I don't know. But I think we could be better as a people. So a lot of our shows are going to be about becoming better. Mainly the older dad show as far as men are concerned. The preemie paradox when it comes to doing the best for an infant from basically time it comes out to 18, 20, 27, whatever it is. And I want you to come with me. So if this strikes a nerve or has any kind of emotional input to you, then we're probably friends, and stick around. But anyway, I wanted to tell you everything in this, what I call episode 1. Hopefully we'll see you guys in the next video. We'll see you now. Bye-bye.